Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Tuesday, 19th November 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. British High Commission announces new travel requirement for St. Lucians. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Any St. Lucian looking to travel to the United Kingdom after January 8th, 2025 will need to have applied for an Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA, in advance. St. Lucians can start applying online for the ETA for about $35 EC starting Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. However, anyone whose application is denied will have to apply for a visa to travel to the UK. Miriam Montoute of the DBS News World reports.
From January 8th, 2025, St. Lucians will need an Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA, to travel to the United Kingdom. St. Lucians can start applying from Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. The ETA is a new requirement for travelers to the UK, designed to enhance border security and streamline the travel process. It serves as an advanced travel authorization that must be obtained prior to departure. Scott Wood is the British High Commissioner to St. Lucia.
This is digitally linked to their passport. They apply in advance. The charge is £10, which is 35 EC dollars. And once they have that electronic travel authorization, any traveller then can travel to the UK multiple times for a 2-year period, staying for up to 6 months at a time. It's a system that's used by many countries and most travellers will be familiar with it already, but we recognise that it's a change, particularly for people who are used to travelling to the UK on a regular basis. So we want to make sure the information is out there early.
Wood says that the length of time for applications to be approved can vary, but typically take a couple of hours. If a St. Lucian is not granted an ETA, he says that they would have to apply for a visa to enter the UK.
I hope that there'll be no problems at all. It's a very simple system. It's an online application. It's a sort of system that countries around the world, Australia, Canada, other countries have been using for some time. So it's an online application. It's that £10, 35 EC dollars application fee. And then once you have that, it's electronically linked to your passport. And then you can travel to the UK as many times as you want over the next 2 years when it would need to be renewed again.
In recent years, the Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA, has been embraced by many countries with the aim of streamlining border control procedures while enhancing security measures for visa-exempt visitors. This system has emerged as a vital digital travel document for international travelers. Unlike electronic visas or e-visas, which is an official document issued by the government of a country to allow a foreigner to enter and stay on its territory for a specific period, an ETA is a pre-boarding permission granted by some countries to visa-exempt travelers. The ETA does not replace a visa, but is necessary to enter the destination country. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
Calls for the Salary Reviews Commission of Trinidad and Tobago to reveal the criteria used to determine how they arrived at the latest salary increase figures for office holders. While political analyst Derek Ramsarouge and Dr. Indira Rampasad have their reservations about the proposal, one political leader says it must be rejected. Jesse Ramdeo of CNC3 News has some details.
Political leader of the National Transformation Alliance, Gary Griffith, is making his position clear as it relates to the Salaries Review Commission's latest report proposing significant pay increases for office holders, including the President, Prime Minister and Opposition Leader.
I think it's a bloody disgrace. I think it is a disgrace that you as an office holder These individuals, when they go in that lofty tower, they do not understand what the country is going through.
If the report is accepted by Cabinet, it can see certain office holders receive a pay hike after a decade. The Prime Minister's salary can climb by nearly $30,000, the President's by over $15,000, and the opposition leader by over $20,000 if the proposals are approved. It's something Griffith is warning against.
People are suffering. People cannot afford to even get a meal for their children. They can't afford to get maybe transportation for their children to go to school. This country is suffering. This is a time we're supposed to tighten our belt, especially by those who have.
Responding to questions at the NTA's headquarters on Saturday, Griffith said given the country's current socio-economic landscape, office holders should instead take a pay cut. Political analyst Derek Ramsamuj also questioned the method used by the SRC to arrive at the latest proposals.
If the SRC needs to justify this recommendation, and does it equate to the practices in the Caribbean political space and the global political space?
Ramsamuj contended the silence over the matter will fan the flames of speculation. And political analyst Dr. Indira Rampasad went a step further and weighed in on the possible fallout if the proposal is accepted.
It is a slap in the face of the population, who's frequently being told by the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister to bang your belly, bear it a little more, and they have to face rising cost of food, transportation, housing, and fuel. At the same time, cannot get foreign exchange and have to pay property tax, and the salaries of these high-ranking ministers are being increased. So I think they are on a downward path, and maybe they are hoping to lose the election.
Dr. Rampasad also noted that given the recent industrial actions being taken by workers from various groups, the timeliness of the SRC's report only bolsters the argument for a wage increase. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
A regional leader is looking at the revolutionary Bridgetown initiative conceived by Prime Minister Mia Mottley as a gateway to revolutionize how his country and other small island developing states access international financing. That is the view of Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt, who is adamant that Caribbean countries are not looking for handouts, but rather fair access to the international financial architecture. He was addressing the Dominica Association of Barbados Church Service at the Our Lady of the Universe Church in Black Rock.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt wants local and regional stakeholders to embrace the Bridgetown initiative. He says the call for urgent and decisive action to reform the international financial architecture is not only for Barbados, but also other small island developing states fighting for a voice on the global stage.
So the Bridgetown initiative, I believe, is an important instrument, important policy recommendation that we believe can assist us. And we're not here for, we're not begging anybody. All we're saying is let us make the playing field different. Because they suspended the rules for Ukraine, and we're not begrudging Ukraine. They needed the money, great. But why can't they do it for us when we're in similar situations? Because climate change really is a war that has been unleashed on us.
While congratulating the association for celebrating 30 years of existence, which coincides with Dominica's 46th year of independence, Prime Minister Skerritt says the island and Barbados have an exceptional relationship. He says sometime in the 1980s, when Dominica's government could not afford to pay salaries, Barbados's then Prime Minister Tom Adams provided the financial support.
And when we came to government in 2000 and we had to go through a structural adjustment program, the government of Barbados was very helpful as one of the first countries which provided us with a $10 million loan to assist us in addressing our structural issues.
Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey, who represented Ms. Motley, says Barbados and Dominica continue to work together.
In the 80s, when Barbados was thought to be conservative and Dominica to a lesser extent, now the most radical voices speaking on these important issues are from Barbados and from Dominica and from the region. And that's an important thing to consider because, as the Prime Minister was saying, when we look at the international financial architecture and the way that it has operated, it was never meant to include Caribbean countries.
Following the service, Mr. Skerritt, Mr. Humphrey, and other dignitaries joined members of the association for lunch and fellowship.
Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has unveiled a bold vision for Jamaica, focusing on economic self-sufficiency. Central to this plan is the redevelopment of St. Thomas, which will serve as a model for similar initiatives across the island. CVM's Ramon Gordon has some details.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has a bold new vision for Jamaica, one that prioritizes economic self-sufficiency. He's positioning the St. Thomas redevelopment project as a flagship for a new type of development across the island, where fiscal agency is paramount.
The St. Thomas project is about us showing the rest of Jamaica, and indeed the rest of the world, that through our own resources, we can build our parish and we can build our country.
The project aims to revitalize St. Thomas with upgraded infrastructure, directly connecting it to the capital, Kingston, and driving significant local investment.
There are 150,000 housing solutions needed to fill the housing demand in Jamaica, and all of that can be built in Kingston. Some of it has to be built right here. So we're going to push housing development into St. Thomas, but for people to choose to come and live in St. Thomas, they want to know that they have good facilities here.
The Prime Minister was speaking recently at the soft launch of the Morant Bay Urban Centre, a hub for business and community services aimed at making St. Thomas a vibrant, self-sustaining economy.
As a post-independence Jamaican, I have never believed that my progress, my prosperity, and my development rests on anyone else. For too often there has been a kind of thinking that we must wait on foreigners, we must get debt, we must borrow debt or get grants to do the things we want. I do not believe in that. I believe that I can develop Jamaica. I can build Jamaica. You must build your own country.
Similar initiatives are unfolding in other areas. Kingston's waterfront is gaining a new park to enhance social and economic activity, while the Urban Renewal and Development Program has approved 70 projects across 55 constituencies, focusing on infrastructure and community growth. However, concerns linger in St. Thomas, where issues of water availability and other infrastructure challenges remain prevalent. For that, Holness gave the following charge.
Without the economy, no road can fix, no water can be provided, and what you will get from politicians who can't heal the economy are beautiful sounding promises. I have come to change the way in which we do things in Jamaica.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
And now for our regional roundup with Darcia Richards of HGP Nightly News out of Guyana.
Residents of Salino and Nazon central neighborhoods in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, fled their homes on Thursday as gangs spread to one of the few remaining areas of town not already under their control. A coalition of gangs known as Viv and Sam has been cementing their hold over the country while the political leadership has been rocked by infighting and a long-delayed foreign security mission has made scarce progress. More than 700,000 people have been forced to flee their homes in Haiti due to the extended conflict, according to the International Organization of Migration. Thousands of people have been killed amid reports of widespread sexual violation, ransom, kidnappings, and extortion, while some 6,000 people have been plunged into famine-level hunger. Prime Minister Gary Conille was removed from his post by the country's Transitional Presidential Council this week after just a few months in office, with infighting between council members slowing progress on tackling security. The United States banned U.S. airlines from flying to Haiti for a month after commercial airplanes were struck by gunfire. Finally, Tropical Depression 19 has strengthened into Tropical Storm Sarah and is expected to bring life-threatening and potentially catastrophic flash flooding and landslides in Honduras through the weekend. Sarah is the 18th named storm of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. The U.S. National Hurricane Center, NAT, in its 1 p.m. update, said the system is expected to meander near the northern coast of Honduras late Friday and through the weekend. Data from the Air Force Reserve aircraft indicate that the maximum sustained winds have increased to near 40 miles per hour, 65 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts. Some strengthening is possible if the system remains over water. Tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 70 miles, 150 kilometers from the center, mainly in the northern semicircle. The NHC said interest elsewhere in Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan Peninsula should monitor the progress of the system.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.